about us. I know there's a lot of you who I know quite well and who've been, there's Andrea from the West Valley, who've been on Fit Pro Connections, have been part of Fitness Fest for many years. And so we appreciate you coming back over and over again. We appreciate our new fans too. And we can go ahead and start recording. You already are, Joanna, good for you. My name is Janice Jakes. For those of you who don't know me, I am the owner and founder for the Fitness Conference and Expo. This is our 23rd year. We are a fitness conference for fitness professionals, personal trainers, group exercise instructors, aqua instructors. I teach aqua. I have been teaching aqua for almost 35 years, and that is my format. And so that is who I am. We are going virtual this year in April. We'll put a little bit more about that in the chat later, but it's April 22nd to the 25th. If anybody doesn't know about that, we can talk more about that later. And Joanna will put the website in the chat. And if anybody didn't already sign up and wants a discount, we'll be happy to share that code so we can get you a better price. And so without further ado, I am going to introduce our esteemed guests. I am going to introduce Tyler Valencia. After working for NCCPT, Tyler decided to start his own online health and fitness company and founded the Kinesiology Institute for Performance Specialists. We prefer to call it KIPS, K-I-P-S, because that is a mouthful. Since 2016, KIPS has been selling and developing online and live education for health and fitness professionals, including my online aqua certification. Shameless plug right there. In 2020, Tyler decided to restart his first ever entrepreneurial quest and relaunch Time to Train Fitness, an online exercise platform which specializes in live and online demand workouts for those wanting to work out at home. Tyler holds both a bachelor's and master's degree in kinesiology and will be completing his PhD in health and human performance later this year, which is just so awesome, Tyler. He's also a sponsor, a consultant, and a presenter for Fitness Fest, and he hosts the Fitness Fest podcast. Welcome, Tyler. And of course, with this topic, we definitely wanted to have Tyler on the call. And I am going to pull up, Kelly just sent me a different bio, so I'm going to pull that up. There it is. Okay, so Kelly is the host of she hosts a Fit Pros show on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which Tyler and I were lucky enough to be on a few weeks ago. Super fun. She's great. She's a great connector, knows a lot of people in the fitness industry. This show, she teaches Fit Pros how to make money online. She founded the Fit Pros Connect Facebook group in 2012. It had 8,500 vetted Fit Pros in it, and she's been a fitness instructor since 1994 and an online marketing pro since 1999. In the last 6 years, she's bootstrapped 2 companies, and that is during COVID, my friends. So, and Kelly is also a presenter and a sponsor for Fitness Fest, and we're very excited to have her this evening and very excited to have her as part of our virtual and our live Fitness Fest. And we couldn't think of our second person to be on the show tonight. Welcome, Kelly, to the Fit Pro Connection free Zoom forum. Thank you, Kelly. And then my friend McCall. McCall Tyson is the queen of energy. She teaches in person and virtually high fitness bar. She was a ballroom dancer and had experience with Dancing with the Stars. I know she teaches for Time to Train and a lot of other in person and virtually. She is for I think the 3rd year in a row, a presenter for Fitness Fest. And let's see what else we have to say about one of 10 high fitness guru trainers across North America. If you've never heard or never taken high fitness, it is so much fun. I've got to experience her teaching personally, lots of high energy, high impact, lots of fun. So welcome, McCall. Thank you for coming on this evening as well. So let us get started. asking our questions. I first wanted to say a few things myself about this topic, fitness jobs. Where are we now, and what's out there, and all that. Just in the past 2 weeks, so I told you I teach water fitness, and part of my business, besides doing the fitness education for fitness professionals, is we have some contracts with some retirement communities for teaching water fitness to older adults, and we have been out of commission for an entire year, as you probably know, due to COVID. And just in the past couple of weeks, several of our retirement communities have asked us to go back. We just got started with one this week, starting with another one in a couple weeks. And I've gotten a lot of requests for people coming out. So that is an opportunity that is coming up for any of you who are listening on who do teach aqua or perhaps are interested in teaching aqua. So lots of things are opening up, and people really need us now more than ever as fitness professionals, no matter what format you teach or train. So please keep that in mind if you're interested in continuing this great, rewarding job or career. There's a lot out there. So let's get started. I'm going to ask Kelly first. Where do you see the industry going, Kelly?
Hello, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. So those of you who know me, you've probably heard me say this. It's kind of become my battle cry, but I'm going to say it again. I really believe that the traditional fitness industry model did exclude or leave out millions and millions of people. And what I love about where we are now, the opportunity is in the fact that we are able to go virtual and reach out to people that were disenfranchised by the traditional fitness industry model. So people who were immunocompromised, were maybe had a specific type of injury or a specific condition, different stages of life, women with newborns and young kids. We as fitness and fitness professionals are now able to kind of specialize and niche down a little bit further because we are able to go online and expand our reach past our immediate geography. So I do see us being able to specialize and serve those niche populations more effectively and more efficiently because we are all looking at new ways to deliver our services.
Great, Kelly. Thank you so much. And then we're going to ask that same question to Tyler. Tyler, where do you see the industry going?
So I'm going to preface this with two parts here. So first, sometimes, and Janice knows this, that sometimes I joke to myself that I've kind of become a conspiracy theorist within the fitness industry, like with everything that I hear, see, and all those kinds of things. And some of them are jokes that I make, but I will, on a positive end, to lead into my answer, say that Kelly right there gave me a little motivation to push it a little bit with the things that I prepped, with the questions that we're going to go over today. And, the first thing is that I think that we're in a very unique situation right now in the fitness industry. Right now, we have virtual, which has been very popular over the last year and a half. And as Janice read with my bio, I do own a company in the virtual training realm. But at the same time, I also do consulting for gyms, where I have to create content to push people to come back to gyms. And so it's a very unique situation. And so I get to see a little bit of both of it, both sides of it, with people going back to the gym, with virtual training, all those kinds of things. And, one of the things with virtual that is kind of unfortunate is seeing how many organizations, big ones, big corporations that have invested heavily in virtual training. So that's not just to say like Apple or the P word. I don't say that other company out loud, but gyms as well. There are many gym chains that have invested in virtual training, and you can kind of think on your own what that does for yourself as an instructor. But as I've seen some conversations unfold over the last month and been a part of some of them, I think that there will be hybrid versions for instructors and for the fitness industry in general, that there will be some options for people to go back to the gym, work out, instructors to train people. I think that will be definitely an option. And I'm going to touch on some of that with the other questions that are planned for today. But I think virtual is not going to go away. And you can try to figure out how you want to fit into that piece. Something that was even mentioned on Kelly's show was when we were talking, everything that Kelly just said there, but about if you can just figure out those populations that have not been able to go to the gym, that do need help, you have a golden ticket right there. But I will admit that is the hardest thing to figure out. But that's my answer for now.
Okay. What if somebody doesn't know what the P word is?
Fine, I'll say it. Peloton. I said it. Done.
I was going to put it in the chat, but all right, McCall, same question. Where do you see the fitness industry going?
Okay, so I am a huge lover of in-person fitness, and I think that's just because my OG format that I teach and started with is high fitness, where there's such a power from being together. And my love language is like human connection. Like I love being able to see people's faces and feel that energy. And I mean, the social part is huge for not only me, but a lot of people. I think a lot of people just crave that connection. And I definitely get a good group of women who come for just the social, like their party in the back social, And so it's really hard to replicate that feeling. And so that power of group fitness, I don't see that going anywhere. I think that sense of just community and togetherness is something that like nothing can break, right? People are going to fight for that, whether it's outside or in the walls of a gym. People love that togetherness. But virtual, I mean, we've all had to pivot quite a bit this past year and get creative and get uncomfortable. And I do think, just like Kelly said, that now we're all of a sudden able to reach so many more people. And there are a good chunk who maybe didn't know it before, but they prefer that way to work out because, oh my gosh, this is so much easier that I don't have to take my kids and put them in childcare. Or, hey, this is awesome that I still get to take from my favorite instructor, even though my kid is sick. Or, I can squeeze this in and then go to work right after because before I didn't have time to shower. So like there's so many benefits. And I think that even those who prefer it just for the safety aspect of like, I don't want to be around people and, risk getting sick or whatever. So I think that it's great to have both tools in your tool belt because these virtual workout platforms, they aren't going anywhere. They're just going to increase. So, and I think they're just going to become a more normal and natural way for people to work out. And yeah, even now it feels pretty natural and it'll just keep that steady uphill slope.
Yeah. And you've been doing it, you've been doing the virtual probably almost since the beginning, McCall. And of course now I know personally that you're also back in the gyms too. And I know firsthand your energy because I've taken your classes in the gym and in my backyard. When COVID started, we actually had McCall come over for high fitness and for bar. So
right.
So yeah, and it's interesting. Yeah, and it was super fun, and I agree about the connection and the high energy and the different kind of that you do get from in person. But it has been interesting that even older adults who we thought could no way ever figure out the technology of Zoom or be able to do that. And I've heard from Silver Sneakers and a lot of other older adult organizations like FAI that they have figured it out. And it is, I don't want to even just simplify it by saying it's better than nothing, but a lot of them have really come accustomed to enjoying it. And you can figure out like our little Zoom connection that we're doing here because we can see faces and feel as much energy as we can. So thank you, all three of you, for the great answers on that.
Can I break in and add something?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So as Tyler and McCall were talking, I was thinking a little bit more on this, and I was thinking about the fact that we are now in deeper relationship with our clients because a lot of us have gone virtual, especially if you are teaching out on your own and not through a facility. You no longer have that front desk kind of between you and the participant. And so it's a totally different relationship between instructor and now client versus just participant. And I don't see that changing. I think we have all really enjoyed that. We now know more about, when I taught at the gym, I didn't even know the ages of my participants. Now I have their health survey. I know about their conditions. I know about their past injuries. I'm just able to serve them in so much of a deeper way. And with that also, I think that we saw during COVID how much the fitness industry relies on the personal trainer and instructor. And I don't see us, I see that status continuing to be elevated. I think we really have realized that the industry kind of sits on the back of the instructors and the personal trainers in that we are the ones that are serving the clients. The clients come to the gym because of us. And so, I don't know exactly what that means for, let's say, pay or benefits or anything like that, because gyms are struggling, facilities are struggling. But I do see us as instructors and personal trainers finding ways to claim our value more and more.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Kelly. So I'm glad you hopped back on and said that. As far as the different kind of connection that we have with the Zoom participants or whatever kind of communication, Facebook, with you and all that, and also our value. And I think a lot of the professionals will agree that a lot of this illness and COVID could really, if we would stay healthy and, improve our immune systems with fitness and health and trainers and instructors, we'd all live in a much better world. And I hope that gyms and the world and the doctors and everyone have realized how valuable we are. And it's not just the physical, it is the emotional and the mental, and that's why I feel so bad for in particular people in the retirement homes who have not had any human contact. The facilities that we work in Scottsdale, Arizona, they can't even go to the dining room, and people who are with or by themselves, imagine having to stay in your room, just take it even away the physical, but that emotional and that mental, and anyway, I'm preaching to the choir. So we'll move on to our next topic: digital versus in person. What resources do you have for making these choices? Sort of two questions, and you guys can break it up any way you'd like. Tyler, you're going to lead this one. You're going to start this one.
So with KIPS, the company that I started in 2016, primarily that's been an education company with specialty certifications. But when the shutdown started to happen, I saw a big need for fitness professionals to learn more about the tech side. So ever since then, we've been making a lot of everything has been free that we make, tutorials that are available on YouTube or on our blog, whether it's learning how to do a Facebook Live, basics for Zoom, product reviews for lighting, how to make low-cost budget lights, things of that nature. All those things can be found on our YouTube. And, that was a way to kind of give back to the fitness industry and to professionals, because I know, and yeah, I'm not going to make any jokes about Janice on this one, even though I did before we started. But I know that not everybody is good with technology. And even though I enjoy it, I know that it's such a big part of a business. With being a small business owner, being a personal trainer, even, knowing technology can really help drive your business. So all those tutorials we started making to just get them out there, see if it helps anybody. And we got a lot of great feedback about them. And looking back on them now, I know that a lot of them even need to be updated, because things that we made at the beginning in March, April, some of those services are updated, and that's part of what makes technology hard to understand, is to stay relevant with it. Knowing, even being on Zoom right now, all the things that have changed on Zoom are crazy. And so devices that you utilize, all those things, just staying current with those. But I hope that those free resources can help people make their decision if they want to do digital, or if they want to go back. Check us out on KIPS later on.
And Tyler, I want to be sure that you include, for people, anyone on, but I'm thinking of you, Megan, and there's a couple other people that I met on, it's so funny to say you met people on Facebook, but that's our lives right now, that are getting into the business and maybe are thinking about going to and want that basic information about lighting and mics and all that kind of stuff. So let's make sure you put in the chat, how they can find those free tutorials. Because I get a lot of that when I'm cruising Facebook, and a lot of the people on the call are going to want to know that kind of stuff. So let's make sure we give them those resources. And I know Kelly and McCall have information that they want to share too. It's all about sharing free stuff and sharing whatever knowledge and whatever information, and some of it may be paid programming, but sharing what these guys got to offer. So digital versus in person, what resources do you have for making these choices? McCall, you want to go next?
Yep. All right. So I am approaching this question as kind of an independent fitness instructor. So say that you are 100% on your own. So circa March 2020, right? We're all like, whoa, what just happened? I all of a sudden am like left in the dark, gym's closed. I got to figure something out. So with, let's talk about like Zoom classes. If you go digital that way as just 100% on your own, I think that there's a lot, there's pros and cons to teaching virtually. So with virtual classes, this is obviously like a great way where we can reach way more people than we could at in-person classes. I tried to count just from the chat here how many states. I think we have like 8 different states like in our little chat today, which is amazing, right? So it's a great way to connect you. There's no boundaries. And it's a great way to grow your personal platform if you're trying to, whatever goals you have. And just like Kelly had mentioned, what a great way to claim our value as fitness instructors. When we first started teaching, started teaching digitally. I was teaching Zoom classes, $2 a head. Anyone could afford $2 a head, and I would have like 100 people show up, right? It rocked. I was like, sweet, $200 for my 1-hour class. And I had total like control over what I wanted to do, kind of how I wanted to run my little independent business. So that was great. Something else that's great about digital classes or, virtual is it really, really helps you hone in on your cueing skills as an instructor, because you have to just really explain exactly what's going on. So I've noticed that over the last year that we learn how to cue a lot better because we have to explain and show. A con to virtual classes, you really have to be on your game always, right? You have to be over the top energetic. Like what you normally bring to class isn't enough. Like you have to bring even 5-10% more because of that barrier through the screen. It doesn't translate how it normally does. So sometimes I'll, see a video back of myself and be like, wow, I thought I was really giving it, but apparently I wasn't. So there's that pressure to always be on, to have, your mistakes be at a minimum, to really come in prepared. You might not get paid at first, right? That can be kind of a con of teaching, whether if you're going independent. I'm lucky enough I get to teach with Tyler's company, Time to Train, and that rocks because, hey, I get paid to work out at home, right? In my living room. There's so many pros and cons both ways of virtual, but it's just one of those challenges that we learn. And technology is like a flaky best friend, right? Like when they show up and they're there, it's the best thing ever. Like it's so great, but sometimes it's a struggle, and that's extremely frustrating. So it goes both ways. But there's a lot of online gyms popping up. So, there's time to train. If you want me to message you, or I can type in the chat box, I know of a bunch of them that are really awesome, that are just options for you to take as an instructor. And then, I kind of touched on the pros and cons of the in-person in the last question. So I'll turn the time over to Kelly.
All right. Thank you, McCall. Kelly?
My mouse is not my friend today. I could not get unmuted. I'm sorry.
See, that technology. That
best friend
thing again.
That was a great quote. I'm going to use that.
No kidding. I was going to say shit, but I try not to swear too often. So.
So I say that it doesn't have to be an either or. I believe in the both model and the yes and model. I believe that we can go back and teach in person, and if it's not in conflict with the facilities that we teach at, we can still do virtual. And I believe that is true also for our participants. They can subscribe to our virtual classes and still be members of the gym. Neither are mutually exclusive. They're totally different things. As I said before, I believe that we can be serving very niche, very specialized populations. That's very different than anything that we're doing in a big box gym, in a little mom and pop gym. In most gyms, that's going to be very different. So I believe that the biggest opportunity is in the fact that we have kind of been pushed into this entrepreneurial world, and a lot of us are taking that opportunity and making it more of an entrepreneurial venture. And let me see, I've got some notes here, and then just what I said before, the resources that I've got, the Fit Pros show, of course, it's on Facebook in my fitness, in my Fit Pros Connect group. It's called Fit Pros Connect, hosted by Kelly Coulter. I'll put the link in the chat. That's on Tuesdays at 2:00. We talk about going online all the time. We also talk about things like growing your audience, and that's going to be true for people who are also doing in-person entrepreneurial type fitness work, like growing in the park boot camp or doing cul-de-sac workouts with moms in neighborhoods. So there are all kinds of opportunities that allow us to do in-person, both for ourselves and for a facility, as well as online for ourselves as entrepreneurs.
Right. And I'm glad you said that there are so many opportunities. And I know a lot of the fitness instructor trainers are struggling. Some of them gave up, but I also see a lot of new instructors and new trainers, newly certified. So why are they in? So there are opportunities, and there are definitely trainers and instructors who are taking advantage of both, like you said, and going outside the box. And I've heard a lot of people making more money than ever because they're being creative, and they are learning and growing, and they're killing it. So what's the difference between, we can all make excuses of why we can't and why we don't and why we won't and why we're not, but it's kind of BS if you really want it. If you don't want it, if you don't want to stay in the industry, that's fine. But if you do, if you really do, there are opportunities. There's opportunities for growth. And I'm just going to read a couple of things in the chat about, this is from Linda. You're a sole proprietor teaching online and just struggling with how to market myself. And that's the ticket, right? It's, first of all, coming up with the ideas and who you're going to market to and how you're going to market. And Linda, I don't know if you're signed up for Fitness Fest, and I'm not just saying this for a shameless plug, but we have an entire business track and so many different workshops and seminars. Tyler in particular, Kelly in particular, Shannon Fable, a whole bunch of real pros who are going to give you just amazing ideas and information. So good. Yeah. So and Linda, if you're not already, check out that agenda. And if you want to, there's just so many things on marketing and growing a business. So I would definitely say that, because that's the marketing and how much everything has changed with social media and all that kind of stuff. And there was another thing I wanted to address from Andrea. And I'm going to answer it, and then I'll let you guys answer. Is there a trend toward big box gyms giving fitness pros more autonomy because of what Kelly just said? Do you see managers allowing fit pros to come up with whatever ways to keep people moving? I'm going to say, and I'm going out there on a limb, but I don't work for a big box, so I can say whatever I want. I doubt it, and that's sad to say. And like one of you said in the beginning, it's like gyms are struggling. A few of them went out of business, so they're trying to keep afloat. Now, the big picture is, doesn't it make more sense about retention and giving the clients what they need? I would hope that gyms would do that, but I don't know. And I don't know if the three of you have any comments on that, so.
The response that I had put in there was just that the bigger the operation, the more they are bound by history, by insurance, by stakeholders. There's so much, and that's why they are always tending to move slower. And that's why, as instructors, we were able to get out there and do things that big facilities and organizations couldn't.
Yeah. So instructors and trainers who really truly care are the ones that are figuring out how to make a difference, because their community, our community, needs us more now than ever. So if you got in it because of that, because you love to help people and you love to share, then keep on doing it is what I say. All right, where are we? Yes, I think we got that one, number 2. So the question number 3, what about trainers, instructors that don't want virtual? And I think we kind of already answered that, but let's just continue, McCall. What about instructors who just don't want to do virtual at all for whatever reason? I mean, for me, an aqua instructor, kind of hard to do aqua virtual. So yeah, I could learn something new, but God forbid I had to learn Zoom. Okay, please stop me.
Oh man, can you imagine? So gyms they're still hiring. Like if you want to work, for a gym, they're definitely still looking for instructors. And I think that they've lost a lot of instructors too, who do prefer like, oh, hey, I actually like this virtual world a little bit better. Or, hey, I don't want to teach in a gym because of health reasons, or, so open your mind to not only big box gyms, but hey, there's all kinds of smaller gyms that are around you that you don't even know about. They're like in every nook and cranny. So go get your feelers out and see what's around you. And maybe there's a gym space, like a CrossFit gym, that you're like, okay, I don't want to teach CrossFit, but this is a great space for whatever I do. See if you could rent dance studios or those kinds of spaces. See if you can rent outdoor facilities, right? You can get creative and find ways to still do in person, but I would also take this question and kind of reflect it, and just think, okay, well, why don't I want to teach virtual? Because I think a lot of people are just really scared, because it is scary. It's not fun at first going in front of a camera and just like jumping around and bouncing around. And it's very, very uncomfortable, right? Even 75 classes in, it doesn't feel supernatural to some people. I think some people it does, but it's scary. So just think, hey, if it's a thing where I'm just a little bit fearful, let's step into that arena and get uncomfortable, right? Let's learn new skills, and add that tool to your tool belt, because this virtual world is not going anywhere. If anything, it's just going to be something that snowballs and increases, and you're going to want the experience and to take those risks so that you are prepared for whatever's coming next for you. Plus, it's so huge think of it as even like a resume builder, right? It's something that you can have just in your back pocket that you know how to do virtual, you can do in person, you know how to mirror, you know how to cue, you know how to link and share your screen and, make the music work however you need to. Because I really think that people need us now more than ever for their mental health, whichever way people prefer to get their workout. People need us. They need that release. They need that mental connection. You might not see anyone else on the other end of your screen, right? You might not even see a head count. It might say 0 people there, but you are bringing your best efforts every time, and someone on the other side of the screen is like, that's exactly what they're going to need that day. So just keep that at the root of it all. Think, why did I get into this in the first place? Who am I going to help? Who am I going to serve? Who am I showing up for? And I think that really helps to direct your path in figuring out where you want to go.
Really good advice there, McCall. I love what you said about and I don't know where everybody lives, but in the Phoenix metropolitan area, I mean, before COVID hit, I was just like so blown away by how many little studios, bar studios, CrossFit, yoga studios, and of course the big box gyms. And in EOS, a big box gym, they built, I don't know how many new gyms they opened in the United States during COVID. I think they're the fastest growing gym in the country, and we've got a ton of them in Arizona. But it is a good point about the smaller, the bar studios, a ton of them in the Phoenix area, as a matter of fact. So you might want to think about learning a new format. Happens to be a TRX certification going on at Fitness Fest, a bar above certification, yoga. What else we got? Older adults. I mean, older active aging adults is definitely running rampant in the country and definitely in Arizona. Got that certification. So you may want to think about that kind of stuff. And then also regarding learning the technology, you've got people here on this panel who've got the resources and they're willing to help you. You've got your free tutorials with Tyler, you've got Nicole's experience, and Kelly's got programs all the time. So they'll share more on the chat. I also do a follow-up email, which I'll send you in a couple days, and you three make sure you get me all your anything you want to share that we want to put your contact information, your boot camp program, Kelly, get that, and we'll make sure we get that out to you. So, all right, moving on. What about instructors and trainers who don't want to go virtual? Kelly, you're on next.
So what I say is, if you don't want to go virtual, yes, consider the reasons, because you don't want to let your caveman brain keep you from growth, right? You want to make sure that you're always growing, moving forward. But if you really don't, then don't. And this is something we talk about a lot. I do a virtual studio business accelerator, which is a 12-month coaching program. And it's something we talk about a lot because I encourage them to grow a community around what they do, whether those people in their community are subscribing to their program or not. Let everybody be in their free community, just like I have Fit Pros Connect. And I encourage them to go on live and just do a chat every week. And some of them are coming back and saying, I don't enjoy doing that chat. And I'm like, you know what? Then show up in a different way, because it's got to feel right to you. If you are going to do any kind of entrepreneurial spirit of moving forward in your fitness career, you've got to be building a business that works for you, that feels good for you, that feels genuine and authentic and right. So it may be a don't, but if you are not going to go virtual, I would encourage you to do a few things. And that would be, do build a community and an audience around what you do. Whether that means that every time you interact with someone, you grab their email address and you do a newsletter, or whether that means you have a free little Facebook community of all of your past participants, or you do an IG and you do little videos, whatever it is. Build a community and an audience, because you will never regret having that resource to pull from when you need it. God forbid something like this should happen again. Look for opportunities to build your own brand, whether that means that you are teaching virtually or in person, and whether that in person means it's for somebody else or for yourself, as your own entrepreneurial venture. Make sure that you are always building your own brand, and do come back to the idea that we all came in this with a spirit of service. None of us came into this industry to get rich, because none of us have been getting rich to this point, or very few of us at least. So come back to that spirit of service and connect with that, and just do what feels right to you.
All right, Kelly, thank you so much. It's supposed to be Tyler's turn, but he's privately messaging me, telling me that I talk too much. So we are going to skip him. I just threw him under the bus. Go ahead, Tyler.
Way to just out me like that. That was a private message.
Much there.
That was sent in privacy, Janice. Jeez. So there's the joke that I guess to lead me into mine. But, with I'll say what I was going to say, and it's a little more serious because earlier this week I was speaking with one of our instructors with Time to Train about things that I'm seeing within the industry. And I definitely think there are opportunities for people to go back to the gym. There are plenty, and depending upon where you are, you might have more than other areas. How everybody just mentioned with gym chains that they know of that are opening more facilities. The gym chain that I consult for, they just in the Phoenix area, I think they opened 3 to 5 gyms, buying other ones. So there are those types of things happening. But one of the things that is a harsh reality, in my opinion, is that I do think it's going to be much harder for instructors to go back to in-person because of the virtual options out there. And one of the ones that I think is very unfortunate is when I do see gyms doing virtual training, because don't they want their trainers, their instructors to be teaching, being able to sell packages, being able to load their classes up with people? But if they give if they give their members the option to stay at home, do virtual, or in my opinion, it just doesn't make sense. And the reason I bring that up, I see someone else agrees with me. I just don't get it. It doesn't make sense in my head. And that will lead into what I'll probably say at the end, with suggestions for new trainers, with, making sure that you're just growing your business. But it's one of those things, it's a sad reality of the industry that we work in, that gym chains, I'm sure everybody on this that's listening in has had an experience where a gym just threw you under the bus or didn't really care for you. And that's one of the harsh realities of working in the fitness industry, and making sure that you do check all your boxes, making sure that you're getting your education. All these items because when it comes to shove, is the gym going to take care of you, or are you going to take care of yourself and make sure you do all those things? So I feel like I gave a really negative response there, but compared to everybody else, but I hope it helps, because that's just something that I've really thought about this week, because it's made me a little frustrated with, making these free tutorials, doing things to try to help others. I want other instructors to benefit from those. And so when I see things like that are happening, I just get upset. Their gyms are taking care of themselves, but what about everybody else? What about the instructors that are going to be hungry for work? So go ahead.
And it's a good point. And not only are they hungry for work, but they're the ones who are meeting the clients and the students' needs, and they're helping them. And if the gyms don't believe that is helping their business, that's so short-sighted. So I don't think that's a negative comment. And I think that it's just reality. We do have to take care of ourselves. Sure, we got to be loyal to the people with their paychecks. Sure, we got to be loyal to our students, but we also have to take care of number one, and always kind of be checking out our options and learning new formats and looking at virtual and in person, or looking at different ideas for outside boot camps. And I think McCall talked about parks and all that kind of stuff. So just check, don't put all your eggs in one basket, as they say. So, all right, guys, thank you. Those were some great answers from all three of you. We're going to go on to our final question. Suggestions, and we've talked about it already, but more. What suggestions do you have for new trainers and instructors just getting started? Kelly, you're going to start.
Thank you. So I've got a few. The first one is practice as much as possible. I've got a lot of people that come to me that haven't taught it all yet. And maybe they just got certified right before COVID started. Maybe they were just about to start their first gig or had barely started their first gig. Get on camera, do it. Even if you've only got a few people watching, go back and look at yourself. You will get so much information visually just by watching. You'll move your room around. You'll figure out where the lighting is best. You'll figure out where to put that camera. Hint, hint, it's belly button height. McCall just looked at me. Do you not do belly button height? She went, you do. So you'll figure out so much just by going back and watching yourself, but just make sure that you practice and that you go back and look for that visual information. Super important. Get tons of feedback from the people that do come to your classes. Be patient because they may start off small and that is okay, but you are doing the groundwork now for something that can pay off big later on. Always collect that contact information from anybody that interacts with you. Make sure that you are collecting everybody into some sort of community or audience so that you've got that going forward, and collect testimonials. It's really important when you go to start creating an offer that you want to ask for people to lay their debit card down. When they see a testimonial from somebody who looks and acts like they do, that's as close as you can get to their mom or their best friend coming to them and saying, Kelly's great. So make sure that you get testimonials.
Great, Kelly. Thank you. Tyler, what suggestions do you have for new trainers and instructors just getting started?
Yeah, so the first one, just continuing kind of on what I said a little bit earlier with organizations. Remember what organizations, in my opinion, took care of you over the last year? Who was putting out content that helped grow your business, that helped you take it to the next level? Because with the fitness industry, and this is one of those items where I feel like as you grow through the industry, you learn more about the players and all these kinds of moves that happen. You're like, what? But I'm more qualified than that person. It happens all the time in the fitness industry. And so, what I saw over the last year was a lot of organizations that just took care of their paying members. They didn't really take care of the instructors. And that's why I say, remember who took care of you over the last year and be smart with your moves that you make. We talked about that a lot with the jobs this year with be smart with your moves, because as I just said a while ago, that there are the opportunities out there. A friend of mine who is a director of education for a large gym chain on the East Coast, he was basically telling me how they're having such a hard time with getting trainers. And this is a pretty big gym chain out there. And he was just telling me, he was venting to me how hard it is right now because of all the things that everybody else mentioned with instructors that wanted to hustle or making more money out there. So a lot of gyms are having that trouble in the area. So think about advantages. Maybe you might, maybe in the past you weren't a person that asked for more money. Maybe give it a shot. See what you can do, whether it's asking for another class, higher pay, hours, opportunities. Just give it a shot if you're going back to in person. And, with the virtual training, Kelly hit on all those things. Practice is the biggest thing out there. I tell my instructors constantly to practice. And as McCall can attest to, there's so many different pieces for virtual training. It's not just flipping on that camera and, okay, I'm ready to go. There's so many different elements to it. And even though I believe that we do a great job, it's a constant attention to detail with every little item, whether it's cords or lighting, all those kinds of things. And, I'm just going to tell this story because McCall is here and everybody's going to get a good small laugh out of it. Is that, so McCall lives probably 15 minutes away from me. And since she came to work with Time to Train, I decided I'll go help her set up her stuff. So I go to her house and she just has the boxes. She didn't take out any of this stuff. I had to unwrap all the microphones, the interface. And so I'm in there in her living room, unwrapping things. And so she sits down and she just starts grabbing things. And then she looks up at me and she goes, I just started plugging things in. I don't know if it goes anywhere. I just started plugging them in. And I was like, they don't go there. That's not how you do it. She's like, I thought it looked like it fit. So I thought I'd just put it in there. I was like, no, that's not how it works.
Sister McCall, that's me.
So practicing.
Guys, Tyler has been so patient with me. You have no idea.
So with virtual training, practice all of those items, because your levels are such a hard thing to find. What might sound good if you're doing a test, if you're just hitting on your iPhone, your iPad, or any device, if you're just doing a practice on there, that might sound different when you're streaming, depending upon your internet connection, how many devices you have in house. All these things go into that. So practice, practice, practice. And the last thing, and I'm going to throw a nugget out there because I thought about this one recently, was an idea. If anybody wants to take it. You can have it. There's no way that I can do this in my life. Is that I don't see any more digital magazines that just provide content for anybody for free. That's also that anybody can subscribe to, that anybody can submit articles to. These days, if you want to submit articles to any of the big magazines in the industry, you got to be a paying member or you have to know somebody there. It's such a much bigger process these days. So if anybody wants to take that idea, take it. Start your own digital magazine. I'll read it. Also, I'll send you an article if you want, but somebody take that idea.
All right. Well, thank you. And we do have to say that McCall is amazing on her virtual workouts and her in-person, because I subscribe to her. I've watched her bar more than once, and she's excellent. So she got the right cords and the right plugs.
Oh, thank you, Jared.
You bet.
I mean, it's been months and months of back and forth between me and Tyler. So.
Well, I saw you yesterday in your St. Patrick's outfit, so.
Yeah, now that we've, established that I'm the worst case scenario in the digital world, if I can do it, you can do it.
See. All right, McCall. So same question to you. What suggestions do you have for new instructors or trainers just getting started?
Okay, so I think one of the most powerful tools that we can use is just networking. And today here, this is a great place to start, right? We've got each other and you, I don't know how much help I would be, but Tyler right there, message him. He can help you. But just networking and asking around, if you see someone who's doing something super cool, I think that we get shy as we get older. I think that we get scared to ask. And I think that it's kind of, unfortunately, a vibe that sometimes fitness instructors give is that they don't want to share their secrets and their tools. But I'm here. One of my missions is to change that, right? Let's change the face of fitness. Let's help each other and whatever we've figured out that helps us be better, let's share that with them, because them being great is taking nothing away from you, right? That's something I feel so passionately about, is let's cheer each other on, let's help each other, because that's gonna elevate both of us. All ships rise with the tide. So network and make friends with those people around you who you like their vibe and you want to be doing the sorts of things that they're doing, or they inspire you. Meet new people, learn, ask questions. Another great suggestion is get clear on your goals. Do you know what you want to be doing? Because I think that's going to really help if you know, hey, I don't know how I'm going to get to point B, but I know I want that. So make that goal and kind of work backwards, okay, I know I eventually want to teach on this platform or teach in this gym. Who do I know that can help me get there? And then start asking those questions. The third suggestion I would give is give Zoom classes a shot. If you have zero experience in the digital world, this is completely free. It's a great place to just say, hey, mom and best friends, hop on this Zoom call and you're going to be my guinea pigs. Let me know how this, workout sounded. How did my music sound? So give that a shot if your format allows. And then last is, if you feel like the market is too saturated, don't be afraid of that, because write this down if you're taking notes, that no one can do what you do, how you do it. Okay? Let me say that again. No one can do what you do, how you do it. So you might be teaching the same format as someone else, but you're going to put your own little spin on it, right? You're going to bring your personality and your strengths and your people and your vibe to the game. And that's going to really like attract those like vibes, and you're going to have success. So don't be afraid. Just move forward towards those goals. We're here for you. We got you.
Excellent, McCall. Excellent, Tyler and Kelly. Great answers from everybody. Great advice. Great feedback. And I want to see if there's anybody has any questions for any of our panelists. In the meantime, we can start putting your resources in the chat, you guys, Kelly and Tyler, and tell everybody where you are, McCall. So let's start putting those things in the chat. And then Joanna, if you can pull up what I sent you about our next Fit Pro Connection. Our next Fit Pro Connection, we're doing them every week, but in 2 weeks it's Good Friday, so we're gonna skip that. And so it's April 9th. And Joanna, if you could put that topic in the chat so I can be reminded of it. And as a matter of fact, here we go. Carolyn Erickson is actually going to be one of our panelists, and she's actually on the call if you want to say hi, Carolyn. And the next is a good friend of mine, great, just an amazing woman in the fitness industry. So the next topic is a free Zoom forum, your new reality, struggling to get back on track or plowing ahead. Have you renewed or reinvented yourself since last year? How were you ever stuck in a rut? What are some tips to setting priorities and staying focused on what is important? What were some of your biggest struggles you saw for fitness instructors, trainers over the past year, and what advice do you have for those who want to start or stay in the fitness industry? So it's a little bit of some of the things that we already talked about this evening, but this is just such a great topic. And so we've got Carolyn Erickson and Chris Anderson, and then I'm working on a couple other panels for the next one. So I'll make sure you guys, I'll even send you a link as early as I send my follow-up email so that you can just be one of the first ones to sign up for that. And then Kelly, my next sell out your workout boot camp is the end of April, the week after Fitness Fest. Okay, and she just put the link in there, so you might want to check that out. So that would be great. And don't forget that Fitness Fest, Meredith is on the call. Meredith is going to be at Fitness Fest as well. She was on our last Fit Pro Connection. So lots of great things happening in our industry. We're super excited about Virtual Fitness Fest, April 22nd through the 25th. Again, if you haven't signed up yet and you want a coupon, message me, reply to my email or put it right there, and I can put that out there. Our live event, by the way, we are doing September. I don't even want to say slated. We are going to finally get to hug in person. Yay! September 9th to the 12th at the Sheraton Hotel in Mesa, Arizona, which is right outside of Phoenix, Arizona. I have got an in-person water training on all day May 23rd. We are going to be getting wet. So I'll give you more information about that if you're interested in that. So let's see, we've got some good messages coming in here. What do we got?
There's a good one from Anna. I saw her ask it earlier about the percentage or the sweet spot for in-person versus virtual recorded. So like on-demand stuff for trainers.
Uh-huh.
Or you want me to answer it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think that one I real honestly think that just depends on the individual and what opportunities they have. Because depending upon where you are, what facilities you're in, your experience with marketing, digital marketing, those will all vary within those. I mean, it's hard to even think of now. So I haven't done personal training in like probably 2 years. So we had the pandemic, and then before that I lived in Southern California, and that was the last time I did personal training, but it was always, what opportunities came with other items. So it's kind of hard to say what a percentage of those. I will say this is probably the best response I can give for recorded classes. So on-demand classes is that on-demand is very popular. That was something that we realized with Time to Train was that the on-demand was such a big request. This is a little insight into it, is that we thought that, okay, we'll have a unique niche, that we'll have all these live classes. And then all of a sudden we just got email contact that, do you guys have an on-demand? Do you guys have on-demand? And then we quickly realized, okay, we really need to place more emphasis on on-demand. So that's just my little insight into that. That could have changed since September, and it could even depend on you and who you can attract for it.
Yeah, when I love to be live. If I'm on Zoom, I really do like to be live. I like to, feel Mo's energy or Shelly's energy. But to be honest, I always end up doing on demand because of my schedule.
Timing, yeah.
So so that's the way it ends up being. And Tyler put 10 days free for the Time to Train. So he's got some amazing instructors. So you might want to check that out. Of course, McCall, Shelly, Isla. You've got yoga. Ayla, sorry. Ayla is actually one of our presenters. And
see, Carolyn's laughing. You mispronounced Ayla's name.
Well, I said Carolyn's right, so Ayla's not on the call, so don't tell her.
So somebody suggested that we should have a show together, Janice. I don't know.
Yes.
I couldn't be. I can't stand Janice for that long, to be honest.
I said I talk too much, so that wouldn't work very well.
That's exactly right.
You guys can both come back on my show anytime.
That was super fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, we did.
That was great. All right, do we have any more questions for any of our panelists or for me or for anything at all? Any comments? I hope you enjoyed it.
Somebody had a question about CPR.
I would never give up my CPR personally, not just for the fitness. If you're asking me for as a fitness professional and as a human being to be able to be refreshed on how to help somebody or how to save somebody. So that's my opinion on that. So you can even get it online right now. So, which of course it's better to, play with the little dummies, but, I got mine just before COVID hit. So it was last February, just before it hit, I was up for it. So I got to play with the little dummies. So.
I just want to jump in and say thank you very much. That was so helpful.
I'm so glad, Megan. I'm so glad we connected on Facebook and that you were able to hop on, and you and I will get together again. Phoenix is a great place to move to, great fitness opportunities. And, I know a lot of the coordinators and managers and things that go on in the different gyms, and I even know some secrets, so I'll share them. Some scoop, right? All right. It was so good to see everybody. Our panel, our McCall, Tyler, and Kelly were awesome. Just really great information, great advice, great feedback. Let's see what else. Anybody else's comments, questions?
I got a ton of TV to go watch this weekend, so, I'll see you guys later.
TV to watch.
So many great things came out. I'm just saying that. I know that I'm looking at the screen right now, and I am the only male on here, and that the shows that I'm going to go watch are primarily for males. But if you like comic book movies or you like Formula One, tons of stuff for this weekend. I'm just saying that. I noticed that joke would have not hit, like in the middle, like of my presentation. Nobody would have laughed at that one.
Yeah. All right. Well, this was great fun. It's always great fun. I hope to see you all in 3 weeks on the next Fit Pro Connection. I, again, will follow up with an email.